Men's basketball takes their postseason hopes into overtime. Women's basketball honors a pair of senior stars and a unique life story of a freshman NCAA record breaker.
I want to be able to show that once given the opportunity, you can do the best that you can with your life and grow up to be a great person.
All this and more coming up next on College Press Box. Good evening to College Press Box, your premier news show here on the 40 Acres. I am your host, Daniel Shih. Let's start with some basketball, shall we? Texas men's basketball team had a big weekend facing number 20 West Virginia at home. It's a virtual must-win for Shaka Smart and the Longhorns to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive. Let's head down to the Frank Irwin Center for the highlights. With Mo Bamba out of the game due to toe injury, Shaka Smart had a tough task facing a number 20 West Virginia in a virtual must-win situation, but the Mountaineers came out strong. There was Konate for the layup against Jericho Sims, but Sims answers right back with the dunk, sending a message to Texas, we will not give up. Later, Roach passed it to Ostenkowski for the three, drains it, and Texas gets the lead in the second half. Texas now up by 2 with 15 seconds left. Carter going through Roach, lays up, and ties the game. We're heading into overtime. Sims gets the tip-off. Roach finds Sims again for the dunk. Texas gets the lead in overtime. And Coleman looks for Jacob Young, shoots the three, bang, gets the three, and Texas gets a 7-point lead with 2:40 left. Texas wins 87-79. Now, TSTV's very own Christine Taylor tells us what this win means for the Horns' postseason goals.
Moving into Saturday's game against number 20 West Virginia, the stakes were high for the Texas Longhorns. With goals for the postseason in mind, the team went in determined to win.
And we also knew there was a ton on the line. So what I told the guys last night is we have to strike the balance between having incredible urgency but then also playing aggressive, confident, and loose.
And the Longhorns did just that. With career-high scoring from junior Kerwin Roach II and freshman Matt Coleman, the team lived up to expectations with an 87-79 win in overtime. However, the most shocking performance in this game came from freshman Jericho Sims. With Mo Bamba out of the game due to injury, freshman Jericho Sims was chosen to replace him on the court. Shooting 6 of 7, Sims lived up to the team's expectations.
He just stepped up. When his name was called, he just stepped up and been playing awesome. He's the most athletic person in the country, and he showed it today, and he just got to keep balling and just keep doing what he's doing.
With this strong win against West Virginia, the Longhorns have all but locked a spot in the NCAA tournament. With spirits high, the team's current focus is the Big 12 tournament and a goal to keep up their momentum.
So that's how we're going to just go out there and just play every game like it's our last. And then once we do that, we'll just ball out and just hope for the best.
It's about us being the best version of ourselves. Obviously, matchups are big. You know, some teams you match up with differently or better, but I'll tell you this, if we're not the best version of Texas, the way this league is, it doesn't matter who you play. If we are the best version of ourselves, we got a good chance.
The Longhorns take on Iowa State this Wednesday, March 7th, in the first round of the Big 12 tournament. From Frank Irwin Center, Christine Taylor, College Press Box.
With me now is men's basketball analyst Nick Kucholtz. Nick, was this win against West Virginia the most important win for Shaka Smart's tenure in Texas thus far?
Well, it was a very impressive win for Shaka and the Texas team. I don't know if it was his most important, but especially after an 11-22 season last year, Texas fans were disappointed with how he's been performing as head coach so far. And then this season, Texas in danger of making the tournament, or in danger of missing the tournament, rather. It was a desperately needed win for the Horns. I was very impressed with how they battled back, especially against a team that beat them really bad the first time they played in Morgantown. Texas was playing almost like they were playing like their season was on the line, because it essentially was, as you mentioned earlier. Massive win for Texas, kept their season alive. They have a very good chance to make the tournament.
Well, now with Mo Bamba out of the game, Texas was still able to pull off a win against a ranked 20 West Virginia. Does that make the win more impressive to you? And how well did Jericho Sims fill up that void?
It's certainly more impressive when you lose the best player on your team in Mo Bamba. Sims does not bring to the table what Bamba does defensively or as rebounding goes, but offensively, Sims is incredible. He was 6 for 7 shooting. He had 17 points to go along with 8 rebounds. He really stepped up at a time where Shaka Smart needed him. He played 36 of the 45 minutes in the game. He's not bad on defense or rebounding. He does, again, he doesn't bring what Bamba does, but he's a very good player, and he's only going to get better from here. Shaka Smart's at least going to have him through next season. Very talented kid, and he's only going to improve from here on out.
Well, I guess it's really hard to replace one of the best recruits for Texas. But finally, the question that everybody on the 40 acres is discussing, is Texas now a lock to enter the NCAA tournament?
I won't say a lock. I don't think it's 100% sure, and you never know with the selection committee. But I think if they beat Iowa State in the first round of the Big 12 tournament Wednesday night, that not only solidifies Texas's spot in the Big Dance, but I think it gets them out of a play-in game. Because right now, Texas is projected to make the tournament, but they have to play in a play-in game. And obviously, if you're Texas, you don't want to have to play an extra game. So if they can beat Iowa State and not only to me, is a 100% chance they get into the NCAA tournament. But not only that, it will avoid, or they will get to avoid having to play an extra game and another strong opponent. Of course, anyone in the tournament is a tough task. So again, not a lock, but I think a win on Wednesday solidifies that. And even if they don't, I still would put my money on Texas making the tournament.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick. Always nice having you on. Coming up after the break, Texas women's basketball hosted senior night against bitter rival Oklahoma and headed to Oklahoma City last weekend for the Big 12 tournament. Don't miss it. Welcome back to College Press Box. Brooke McCarty and Ariel Atkins played their last regular season home game last Tuesday against the Oklahoma Sooners. Senior Adrienne Caron-Gaudreau was also honored but did not play due to injury. Texas would win 79-66 behind a combined 32-point performance from the seniors. For more on Texas Senior Night, here's our very own Thomas Fitch.
Tuesday night was senior night at the Frank Irwin Center as Adrienne Caron-Gaudreau, Ariel Atkins, and Brooke McCarty took the court for the final time in regular season play. McCarty got off to a fast start, finishing with 17 points and 4 assists.
She's still quarterback in the basketball team. She runs the show. She establishes pace. She gets them organized. She keeps them from panicking. And now she's back to hitting that floater, and that's a problem for folks.
It was an extra special night for Brooke McCarty, whose grandma came out and sang the national anthem prior to the game.
She did that for my senior night in high school, so I kind of thought that she was going to do it tonight, but I didn't really know. But it's just, there's a lot of emotions that go into senior night, but it was easy just to transfer that onto the court and just play with my teammates and get them going.
Atkins, who was named first team All Big 12 on Wednesday alongside McCarty, received high praise from Coach Cole.
Ariel Atkins, I told her, man, I toyed with sending you flowers today because your career is almost over, and I'm glad that I won't have to come to Austin and play you anymore. I just think she's phenomenal.
This senior class, who is on their way to a 4th straight tournament berth, is one of the best in Texas basketball history and will be tough to replace.
It'll be a little different when we walk out on the floor this spring and they're off somewhere else. It'll be a little different, not just for me and the coaches, but it'll be different for their own teammates, I think. But it's part of what they came here for, was to make Texas better. Unbelievable time coaching these guys, and I'm really proud of them. I'm proud they could go out the way they did today.
The Horns finished the regular season with a record of 24-5 and head to Oklahoma City for the Big 12 tournament. From the Frank Irwin Center, I'm Thomas Fitch, TSTV Sports.
Texas flew to Oklahoma City for the Big 12 tournament this past weekend. As the number 2 seed in the tournament, the Longhorns defeated Iowa State in the quarterfinals 81-69. Ariel Atkins scored team-high 25 points, while Jatari White shot 7 of 10 from the field, scoring 18. Texas faced West Virginia the following day, although the Longhorns were struggling offensively, shooting just 40.3% from the field. Texas will beat the Mountaineers 68-55. The Horns will have to face conference rival Baylor Lady Bears later tonight for the Big 12 title. Now we have Sean Mapes, our women's basketball analyst, right next to me. Sean, Do you think Texas performed? How do you think that Texas performed in the Big 12 tournament so far?
You know, they've done a good job beating the teams they're supposed to beat. You know, there's not really anything they can do in these games to impress us, but they did a very good job at just not losing, not messing up. So they're definitely going to have to improve if they want to play better teams. You mentioned that Texas had trouble against West Virginia on offense. That's definitely something the team needs to improve on going forward if they want to compete, again, with Baylor, UConn, Louisville, the upper echelon going forward.
All right, but Texas will face Baylor again, as I mentioned, later today. For the third time this season, Texas lost both matches earlier this season, including a 25-point blowout in Waco. Do you think Texas will find more luck today against the Lady Bears?
Well, it's hard to have worse luck. That's safe to say, especially against those first two matchups in Baylor. Texas definitely going to have to improve from the first two games of the Big 12 tournament against inferior competition, now having to go up against, again, one of the best teams in the nation. You know, real blue blood. The main area improvement has to come from the post for Texas with Jatari White and Joyner Holmes. That's where they struggled the last time they played Baylor. Good news is they've played well so far in the tournament. Played relatively well against the tournament. Again, lower competition. But if they can translate that tonight, I think they definitely have a chance to make it more competitive.
And finally, what do you think is the reasonable expectations for Texas in the NCAA tournament?
Sweet 16, bare minimum. They made the Sweet 16 each of the past 3 years. Brooke McCarty, Ariel Atkins, the seniors have never not made a Sweet 16. So I think Sweet 16 is what you have to shoot for. Anything past that might be icing on the cake. Because again, they're going to have to play the teams that are a little bit higher in the pecking order. You're going to have to punch up, basically, if they want to get any farther.
Sweet 16, I think Texas can go to Elite 8 just because you have so much talent. Karen Aston, very well coached team. But Sweet 16, I think, is the minimum again.
Yeah, the ceiling's definitely there to go Elite 8. I'm not quite ready to go Final Four. That's a little much. But definitely, I think Sweet 16 is completely doable. Elite 8 also doable.
Right. When we return, we head to the dish to see how Texas baseball performed against Northwestern in a 4-game series. We'll be right back. Welcome back to College Press Box. Joining me now is Jonathan Polasek to discuss Texas sports over the past week. Jonathan, it has been a busy week for the Horns, hasn't it?
It really has, but first we're going to start with the former Longhorn. Former Longhorn track and field athlete Courtney Okolo won her first individual world championship gold medal over the weekend at the IAAF World Indoor Championships in the 400 meters. She took the lead for good around the 200-meter mark, and she finished with a time of 50.55 seconds, which is her new personal best indoors. Okolo is the third Longhorn to win the 400 meters at the IAAF World Championships. Okolo had this to say after her race.
You've got the American flag around your shoulders, you're in the stadium with it. What's it feel to win a medal for your country?
It means a lot. I know that, the U.S. team is one of the hardest teams to make, so to be here and to know that I made it this far is just, and on top of that get gold, it's such an honor for me.
Okolo added a second gold medal in the 4x400 meter relay the following day, anchoring the relay for Team USA.
The Longhorns men's tennis team made a statement this past weekend by sweeping the ACC road trip with huge wins over number 16 NC State and number 6 North Carolina. On Friday against NC State, despite dropping the doubles point for just the third time all spring, the number 20 Longhorns rallied back to take the 4 consecutive singles matches and win the match 4-1. On Sunday against North Carolina, a huge doubles win by the third nationally ranked tandem Rodrigo Banzer and Leonardo Tejas clinched the doubles point for the Longhorns, who then went on to split the singles pool 3-3, which means that the doubles point proved to be the difference as the Longhorns were the victors with a 4-3 score. Their next match is tomorrow against University of Pennsylvania at their home court at Texas Tennis Center.
Moving on to the women's tennis side, the men's players weren't the only ones with an upset win this weekend. The 18th ranked Longhorns women's tennis team took care of business this weekend with a victory over the 11th 11th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Texas broke through and won the opening doubles point, something that has been a major strength for the Buckeyes so far this season. Wins by freshmen Marta Perez-Muir and Petra Granic and sophomore Anna Tarati gave the Longhorns their 4 needed points as they ultimately shut out the Buckeyes by a score of 4-0. The women's next match is Sunday as they take on Michigan at home.
Texas golf ended the first round of the Kuranshia Cabo Collegiate yesterday. Texas is currently placed 4th behind OSU, California, Arizona, and Arizona State. Senior Doug Gim shot 69 to lead the Longhorns and tied for 6th in the tournament overall. Junior Steven Schiavone shot 70 and is currently tied for 8th. Our very own Luke Hendry reports on how the assistant coach Ricky Coughlin fulfills his dream of becoming a Texas golf coach.
It wasn't long after Richie Coughlin moved to Austin he decided to pursue a dream.
I really expressed an interest in sort of dipping into college golf again.
Coughlin spent a few weeks at his alma mater, Clemson University, where the opportunity to join the Texas men's golf program became a reality. Texas head golf coach John Fields gave him a call.
I was just really thrilled to have him call me, and he was sort of figuring out where my barometer was with the golf business.
It was clear the University of Texas hired Coughlin as the men's volunteer assistant golf coach.
Texas was always a school that I liked, I admired. They always had a sort of a bravado and a really an intimidation factor.
Coughlin joins one of the most talented golf programs in the nation, and the players realize what the 3-time All-American brings to the team.
Not only what Richie has done, including the Walker Cup, was one of the best things for an amateur to be on, represent the United States, but Richie being international, he has so much experience learning the game from that side. You can tell when you meet an international player how they think, and the way they play shots is completely different.
As different as he may think, Coughlin shares the foundation of every athlete.
Richie is one of the most competitive guys I've met. I mean, you take all of us players and he's one of the most competitive guys that are on this team.
Coughlin's passion and knowledge has already made its impact.
He's definitely been very helpful in all aspects, succeeding at the college level and at the professional level. And just in a short time, I feel like he's really helped our team out.
Coughlin knows collegiate coaching is much different than his previous 10 years as a PGA instructor, but has embraced the new role with conviction.
This has given me a new energy. I'm still in the golf business, but it's in a different capacity now, and I'm really enjoying it. The intensity is there, but it's a nice pace, and I'm really sort of, I'm really enjoying the energy that the guys on the golf team have, and the coaches, of course, and my energy is always there. I'm a high energy guy, and I throw myself in as deep as I can, and I'll give nothing but 100%.
Texas eyes a 6th straight Big 12 championship and a return to the NCAA championship. The Longhorns will continue their season at the Lampkin San Diego Classic March 12th and 13th. Luke Hendry, College Press Box.
Texas took on UTSA this past Tuesday with freshman Nico O'Donnell getting the start. He led the way for Texas, pitching to one-hit the Roadrunners, while the offense was able to score 2 runs to win the game. Texas then took on Northwestern in a 4-game series this past weekend. After losing the first game 6-2, the Texas offense came alive, scoring 10, 16, and 12 runs for the Longhorns, all of which resulted in wins for Texas. Cody Clemens and Zach Zubia were the catalysts for this offensive explosion, with a combined 12 RBIs in the 3 Longhorn wins. Texas next takes on powerhouse Stanford in a 4-game series in Austin starting on Thursday.
Jonathan, Texas is 7-2 at home so far, with home series against number 7 Stanford and Kansas coming up. How important is it for Texas to win these home games?
Well, Daniel, it's very important that Texas wins these home games because let's take a look at their road schedule. They play Oklahoma, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, West Virginia, and Arkansas all on the road. And these are just the Power 5 teams. These are the big road games that Texas is going to have to play. I really don't see Texas being able to win more than 10 of those games, and there's about 15 or 16 of them overall. So the home schedule against the likes of Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU, and Kansas at home, those are very critical. I think especially having 2 of the best teams in the Big 12 in TCU and Oklahoma State at home is a major key for Texas, because I think if Texas was on the road for those 2 series as well, I don't think Texas would win either of those series. I think if Texas can go 3-3 against Oklahoma State and TCU, and then take the series wins against Baylor and Kansas, I think Texas will do just fine and make a push for the postseason.
Well, starting with the series against number 7 Stanford, as was mentioned on Tuesday, Texas will play 6 games in 7 days. How do you think that will affect the rotation depth in the bullpen? And do you think that this Texas roster is deep enough to go through a schedule like this?
Well, I'm just going to say is that this is like an MLB schedule right here, so it's going to be very tough. The bullpen is going to be stretched out just in general because, like you said, it's 6 games in 7 days. College teams aren't usually equipped to play that way. But what I think is very important for Texas is that you have your starters, whoever they may be outside of Nolan Kingham, Chase Sugar, and Blair Henley, they need to go 7 innings plus. That way you let the bullpen rest a little bit and they're not as prone to giving up leads late in games. But I think another major key for Texas is the likes of having guys like Bryce Elder, Nico O'Donnell, and even Mateo Bacchi come in out of the bullpen. They're the guys that typically start the midweek games. Having them pitch against Arkansas during the week, and then even Stanford on Sunday, which is likely going to be the case for one of those 3 pitchers, having them go at least 6 innings will help Texas immensely they may not get a win, but it will at least give Texas a chance to compete with Stanford and Arkansas. Otherwise, I don't see Texas winning.
Well, this is why he's our baseball expert right here. Always appreciate you with your in-depth baseball analysis. When we come back, we'll take a look at a story of a Longhorn freshman who shattered the NCAA diving record. Don't miss it. Welcome back to College Press Box. Let's take a look at what's coming up this week for the Longhorns. So we have men's basketball playing the Big 12 tournament. The first game is against Iowa State on Wednesday. That game was at 8:30 p.m. Also, we have softball at UTSA at 6 p.m. On Thursday, from Thursday to Sunday, as we mentioned just now, baseball will face Stanford, and that will be on LHN. You can catch it up there. On Friday, we have track and field at the NCAA Indoor Championship, and that will go on until Saturday. On Saturday, we have men's tennis at Rice at 1 p.m. Texas men's swimming and diving team recently won a 39th consecutive Big 12 championship. One major contributor to the championship was Jordan Windle. He shattered the NCAA record in men's 10-meter platform, winning the individual conference title. Our very own Luke Hendry reports on how the Texas freshman has not wasted his unique opportunity.
Jordan Windle dives with passion.
Diving is a really big obsession for me. You know, it's been with me for 12 years now, and I really don't want to let it go.
Windle is one of the best divers in the U.S., and he qualified for the Olympic trials at the age of 12. Now a freshman at UT, Windle continues his success.
Being a diver for Texas is really exciting. Having all these amazing athletes, even Olympians here, has really been able to push me, and hopefully I'm able to push them.
A student athlete for less than 8 months, his presence on the team already helps drive others.
I feel like ever since he's been on the team, I've become more confident because I've kind of taken some of his personality traits and everything and kind of put them into my life. We push each other to work harder and be better, and he inspires me to not just be better in the pool, but just be better outside of the pool.
Jordan Windle climbed 52 steps to this very platform in the Big 12 championship, which led to an NCAA record. But it's Windle's climb through life that truly inspires.
So I was adopted at 18 months by a man named Jerry Windle. He's a gay single man. It's been a long journey with him. He supported me throughout my whole diving career, and diving has been my whole life now.
Windle's father adopted him from an orphanage in Phnom Penh, Cambodia in 2001. Over the last 17 years, he strived to simply give his son a chance.
The one thing I wanted to do for Jordan was to give him opportunity. You know, and if I as a parent, and I think every parent, every adult should give every child the opportunity to be the best of who they are.
And Jerry says the best of his son extends beyond diving.
He said, I hope that people remember me as somebody who was their friend. I thought, of everything it could possibly be, you know, someone who was a friend.
Wendell's goals include more than just his success as a diver.
I want to be able to show that once given the opportunity, you can do the best that you can with your life and grow up to be a great person.
Wendell recently qualified for the NCAA championship and will compete March 21st through the 24th. Luke Hendry, College Press Box.
That will be it for this episode of College Press Box. Thanks for spending your Monday night with us. We're off for the next 2 weeks for spring break, but don't forget to catch our sister show, College Crossfire, this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central. From all of us in the studio and Master Control, have a good night.